Welcome to the Michael Singer podcast, presented by Sounds True, in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information about Michael Singer's work, access to all prior episodes, and information about upcoming releases, we invite you to join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com.
Jai Gurudev, Jai Masters. There's a relationship between mind and God, consciousness, liberation, freedom. We usually start talking about where you are, where you start. And where you start is that your mind is very constricted. We don't realize it. The same as a fish doesn't realize they're in water. It's just the environment in which they were born, it's the environment in which they live, the environment in which they spend every moment of their lives. What does it mean your mind is constricted? To understand that, you have to understand the potential of the reality of mind. Mind has no limits. You can think of anything you want. You can think of galaxies, you can think of worms, you can think of anything, it doesn't matter, anything you want. You can think of good, you can think of bad, you can think of right, you can think of wrong, you can think of what you like and think of what you don't like, can't you? You can think of anything you want, period. But that's not what happens. What happens is mind has habits that it gets used to, and it thinks within the framework of those habits. And the habit that is most addictive to infinite mind, which can think of anything, is this letter called I. It thinks about me. And it thinks so much about me that it doesn't know it's thinking about me, because it doesn't have the frame of reference of not me, not I, which is a whole spiritual thing, which we'll get to. What does it mean to limit the potential expansiveness of your mind, not somebody else's, not a philosophical discussion? What does it mean to limit the potential total infinite expansiveness of the capabilities of your mind to you? Well, one thing it means is that is very small. Your thoughts can be very, very big. Your mind can be very, very big, can't it? When it thinks about me, it limits it to this one body. Your I is one body. It's not your daughter's body, your son's daughter, or your parents' body. Okay? I means my body. How small is that? There's 8.3 billion of them running around the planet right now, and you care more about one of them than all the rest. Don't be embarrassed. Let's get down to reality. This one's more important than the rest. Why? Well, let's start with the fact that this one has a nervous system that sends messages to me that can be pleasant or not pleasant, and that's really different than what's going on inside of you. I mean, my you, okay? What's my relationship with you? No matter how much I love you, no matter how much I care about you, no matter how much I don't like you, it doesn't matter. There's something very special about this one body. It sends messages that are very strong back to my awareness of being. Let's do that. I'm aware of the messages it sends. I'm not aware of the messages that yours sends. That immediately addicts you to this. I'm telling you, if I took a nerve cell, took it out of you, no, this is make-believe, took it out of you, but it was still connected to you, and I started poking at that nerve cell or stroking it, you would be extremely focused on that nerve cell, on that one nerve cell. And it would develop your entire philosophy of life. How do I get that nerve cell to be pleasant? How do I get it to feel good? How do I get you to stop poking it? All of a sudden, my entire relationship is about that nerve cell. Well, you don't have one nerve cell. You have trillions of them, or at least cells in the body. And you are very attached to how they're doing. Your consciousness does not have to be attached to those nerve cells. Your consciousness is capable of expanding throughout the entire universe, period. It has no limitations, but it's being distracted by what's happening to that nerve cell or to the bundle of your nerve cells. And distracted is the right word. Can you get distracted? What does it mean to get distracted? Who gets distracted? Your consciousness, your awareness of being. It gets pulled down to something. And I'm saying the starting place it gets pulled down to is your body, because it gets very distracted by your body. And I strictly talked about at this point, I'm going to do it quickly, talked about nerve cells. Fine, right? Why nerve cells? Because they send back messages to you. The rest of your flesh, if there's no nerve cells attached, then no squat. It's no different than the floor. If there are no wires, if you will, connecting the outside to what's going on inside, then no, you don't know what's there. All right, so I don't want to get too far into biology. But your nervous system is pretty important, isn't it? Okay. One of the things your nervous system does is send back sight. It picks up touch, smell, etc. All 5 senses. They're wired through your nervous system. Wired to what? One end is the camera. One end is the receiver of auditory. They're receptors. I call them input-output devices. They're sensors. You have sensors, and those sensors pick up vibrations, light, sound, taste, touch, etc., from the outside world, and it sends it back to one place, consciousness. You all are taught, and I don't blame them because they only know what they know, that it sends it back to the brain. Okay, I'll take you out of there. There's no you in there, and I'll send them back to the brain. What's happening? Nothing. The brain's a bunch of nerve cells, and all of the receptors come back. They send the messages through the nervous system, and yes, they come back to the central console of the brain. But so what? That doesn't do anything. What they don't understand, I don't blame them. It's fine. Someday they will probably get it, have fine enough instruments. When the brain receives these neuron signals and so on, they are very subtle vibrations that hit what's called the mental plane. And all of a sudden, that which you see out here, you see inside. It renders inside. I've talked about that before. It's like a flat screen TV. When you're watching a game that's out in California, you're not in California. You're way back in here. It picks up the signal from the camera. It sends it all across the satellites or whatever, comes in, hits your flat screen TV. There's a chip that renders it, and it becomes pixels on the screen. That's what's happening inside of you. Your mind is that sensitive vibration. It's a sensitive field that when it comes into the brain and has all these firings and all the stuff that they see on MRIs and all kinds of stuff, it renders it onto this thing called mind. And you are sitting in there conscious, looking at what's rendered. So you actually think you're looking out here. You're not looking out here. You do not see me. You are not looking at me. Light is coming in, being picked up by the sensitive receptors, and it's passing back through the nervous system. It's hitting the brain, and that vibration, way subtler than we have any instruments that can pick it up. That's why I can't see your thoughts. They're right there like anybody else's. But basically, they come in and they vibrate. They send a vibration. They call them vrittis in yoga. They send a vibration, very subtle, that vibrates on the mental plane, not the physical plane. It vibrates on the mental plane and recreates the image that you saw out here, gets recreated in there, and you are sitting in there looking at that. So you're in there looking, and you're getting distracted. Who's you? The consciousness, the awareness of being. You in there. Hi. I forgot to ask you, are you in there? Are you in there? How do you know? I need to think about it. No, you'll be watching your thoughts. Who's watching your thoughts? Who's watching you think about it? Who's watching you want to think about it? Who's in there? And you're going to find out that I'm in here. Okay? But I am distracted by my body. I started right there. My body is a very important thing. It's more important than anything else. Is that the only thing you're distracted by? No. What happens is, Let's just get it down, and then we'll go deeper. What happens is things come in from the outside world. Check. It comes in, it hits the mental plane, renders, and you in there see it, but you have this issue. Some of the things that come in, you don't like. They're just not acceptable. They're not comfortable. I don't want to experience this. How's that? Something happens outside. What happens? Everything happens. Okay? It comes in, but when the consciousness experiences it through the mind, it has to come through the mind, it resists it. No, I don't want to explain. I don't know how to explain. That's the fall from the garden. It's so deep. In fact, it's the original sin. God created the heavens and earth. Now he wants to experience what he created. He can't, because I won't let him. You can experience whatever you want, but not that. What do you mean? I'm God. I'm consciousness. I'm experiencing whatever's happening. If I look to the left, I experience that. Look to the right, I experience that. Look up, whatever, anywhere. You go to Germany, I'll experience that. Whatever's there, I experience. Okay? Who are you? I'm not the body that is a vehicle that takes the stuff in. I'm the end user consciousness that's sitting back here. Like, you're not your computer. You're the end user. What good is a computer if there's no end user? Even AI. If nobody sees how smart it is, what's the purpose of it? There's an end user. The end user is consciousness, awareness of being. So it comes in, you experience it, and what's supposed to be happening, let's get there right away, is that's what's supposed to be happening. Be here now. I don't like the word God this way, because you all understand it, but the creator of the universe, call it whatever you want, that force that created everything is consciousness, awareness. It's aware of itself everywhere. And it created, just slowed down its vibrations and created a whole universe so that it could experience it. That's the purpose of creation. What good is music if nobody hears it? Experience is what it's all about. So God, consciousness, universal, everywhere, is experiencing everything. And basically what happens is when it comes in, it's supposed to come all the way back. I've asked you before this question. Have you ever had an experience that was so beautiful? Maybe you turn the corner and there's this beautiful sunset. Maybe you see somebody who you love, haven't seen for a long time, that you melt into the experience, that you're no longer there. It blew you away. It's just like, ever been hugged and go bye-bye? What is that about? That's about the fact that the experience came in, like any other experience, but it made it through. It went all the way through with no resistance, with nobody liking or disliking or judging, that no mind was involved, none of the emotions were involved. The experience itself, the power of the reality of the experience touched you. You say, it touched me to the depth of my being. I felt I was in the presence of God. You haven't had those experiences very often, but you know it's there. That is what's meant to be all the time. That's what is meant to be. That's what it means to not fall from the garden. To be in the experience of the experience of the experience, and there's nothing else going on. It's just whatever is touching you to the depth of your being, and there's nothing stopping it, and that's creation. Your experience, God's creating himself. God's experiencing what he created, and that's what it's all about. Get out of my way. That's what I want to say to you. Get out of my way, you stupid eyes. You're keeping me from experiencing the whole creation I made. There's up and down and right and wrong and yin and yang and beautiful and ugly. And there's just everything. Get out of my way. There's rock and roll music and there's classical music and there's rap. Get out of my way. Everything. I created everything. There's nothing that exists that I didn't create. Is there? I've created everything. It's so neat. Science, again. I love going back to science. I can't go into too much detail. I have an hour. Like I said, you're not looking at the outside world. Forget that. The outside world ain't what you think it is altogether. They've gone down to the quantum level. What does that mean? There are no atoms, no neutrons, protons, all that stuff you were taught. Throw it away. There's a field. What's the field made of? They have no idea. They just gave it a name, quantum field. You ask quantum physicists, yeah, but what is it that's vibrating? I don't know. We haven't gotten there yet. But we know that neutrons and protons come out of this field. They emanate out of this field. They're little vibration rates like this, like dropping a leaf in a still lake creates a vibration, doesn't it? That vibration, they interact together at that level and create neutrons and protons and electrons and atoms and molecules. And that's what's going on here. There, you got your lesson in quantum physics. They know that. They see that. That's what those giant colliders are about, right? Being able to capture, oh my God, it's made of this. They know that a neutron is made of 2 down quarks and an up quark, and a proton is made of 2 up quarks and a down quark. What are quarks? These vibrations, the little vibration, those fields. So they're down to the fact that nothing's here anyways. And the other thing they say, I remember the first time I read that, NASA had published it, right? That the quantum field is omnipresent. The only time I ever heard the use omnipresent used before was for God. Omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. The quantum field is omnipresent. It means that underlying field that's vibrating is what makes the stars, the galaxies, everything, even the one far, far away. It's just, that's what's there. That's what's there. So there's God, creation, God's creation, and God wants to experience his creation. Again, I might as well say it. It's like when it's said and done, what yoga teaches, and it's true, the deep science, what is that field made of? The scientists don't know yet. The yogis do. It's made of consciousness. It's made of consciousness. Well, how do they know that? They go there. You're conscious. You can go deep enough inside yourself to not be distracted by your body, not distracted by your thoughts, not distracted by your emotions, and all of a sudden you find yourself in the universe. You find yourself merged. That's what yoga means. You find yourself merged, and what you find is that thou art. That's who you are. That's what it is. What is consciousness expressing itself as form, experiencing the form it creates. It's all the same thing. It's all one. When you go to sleep and dream, do you have dreams? Are there buildings? Are there people? Are there things happening? What are they made of? They're made of something. You experience them. You come back and talk about them. They're made of mind. They're made of consciousness. Well, that's the same thing, right? That's the whole thing is made of consciousness, vibrating at different rates. And it is pure consciousness, the highest consciousness, experiencing the lower vibration rates of consciousness. Everything comes in. It touches the highest state. It's creating. It's happening simultaneously. It's just you're one with the universe. That's merger with God. That's when Christ said, my Father and I are one. You are that thou art. So basically what happened? What happened is instead of it coming, it's all there. The universe is happening all the time. No one took that away. They can't take it away. The quantum field's vibrating and it's creating all this stuff. What happens is when consciousness comes down, God, consciousness, to look at its creation, something happens. It's called the fall from the garden. It really is there. It really is, the Bible tries to explain it. In other words, consciousness is experiencing creation, but it resists. It somehow gets to the point where what came in, it didn't want to experience. Have you ever had an experience you didn't want to have? That is the essence of what we're talking about. Were they real experiences? Did they actually happen? Did somebody say something to you didn't like? Did they really say it? Yes, it happened. The vibration exists. Well, I don't want it to have happened. It happened, right or wrong. Can anything that ever happened not have happened? No, it happened. It's over. Everything's happened. It's a happening place. Everything's happening, and you're experiencing it. Do you want to not experience it? Some of it. No, I didn't give you a choice. Do you want to not be conscious? Here, the little switch back there. Turn it off. Beep. There. There's nothing. You're not even there. There's no reason to be alive. You're not experiencing anything. Is that what you want? No, I don't want that. But I want what I want to happen to be happening, not what's happening. Who is this I? Who is this I that said that? Well, obviously, I'm experiencing things or I wouldn't know what happened. So that's part of it. I'm conscious, I'm experiencing. But somehow, certain things that were real, called reality, they happened. They happened. It's so hard to talk to you this way, right? Because you're so caught in, but I didn't want it to, but it shouldn't have, but it wasn't right. It wasn't fair. Every word I just said to you was I. Okay? Who are you? You're certainly not God, because God is everything. And you're in there saying, no, what matters is me. I, me, mine. What matters is what I'm experiencing, not the overall experience of everything, which is what's reality, but what I'm experiencing. Somehow the consciousness got consolidated down. What happened is it got too identified with the body. Master teaches that. It starts right there. You're born and you're this tiny little thing, a bundle of nerves, and you're about you. You're about, I'm hungry, I need this, I want that, I like this, blah, blah, blah. And then their entire life, that's what happens. And it goes from the body, or where does it go next? I resist. The key is resistance. I've had this experience. How do I know? Because I'm in here. That's so funny. How do you know you had the experience? Because I experienced it. It's real. What did you do with that experience? I resisted it. What does that mean? Have you ever resisted an experience? You do it all the time. What does it mean to resist? Who resisted it? What is it and who resists? I want to get down to talk real with you guys. I am the consciousness. This experience came in through my senses, reality. And when it tried to come back and touch the core of my being, we talked about that a minute ago, I said, no. That's the original sin. I said no. I am more important than reality. I am more important than God. I am in here and I'm in charge. And yes, there's a universe. And yes, there's consciousness. But my consciousness got pulled down to this one experience. And I didn't like it. It got distracted by the experience I had. You do get distracted. And when it got distracted by the experience I had, I pushed it away. Let's get Freud in here. That's what suppression is. That's what all psychology is about. If you don't do that, they don't have a job. Do you understand that? If you don't resist the experience you had, you don't need a therapist. I'm going to stop for a minute. It is the resistance of the actual experience that gets stuck inside of your mind. Your mind could do anything, but it doesn't. It fixates on that experience that you held in your mind. Your mind is everywhere. It's the same as consciousness. It's just, oh my God, totally expansive. But that's not what happens inside your mind. You stored stuff inside your mind that didn't make it through. It literally gets stuck. Have you had experiences that are still in there from 20 years ago that bother you? Just come back up and bother you? Why are they in there? I'm challenging you. They're not happening anymore. This is absurd. It happened 20 years ago. The people are dead. It'll never happen again. They're still inside of you, aren't they? How did that happen? Because that's what ruined mind. That's what ruined consciousness. That's what ruined life. That's what ruined everything. It wasn't able to let it come in and pass through. Wouldn't it be nice if every single thing you experienced, you went, whoa, wow, 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 talk mean, wow, talk nice to me, wow. Wouldn't that be nice? That's an enlightened being. That is where a great master lives. They didn't have to do anything. They just stopped doing something. So basically, that's heaven. That's what it means to be with God. That's what it means to be merged. That's what it means to be one. That means to not separate good from bad and right from wrong and all kinds of junk. Judge not that ye shall not be judged, etc., etc. So it comes in. I want you to see it. It all comes in. I know you can't imagine that. It all comes in. There's no difference. It's just little wavelets on a quantum field. I don't have to go down there in case you're not a quantum physicist. Is it atoms? Is it atoms? Is it all atoms? Yeah. Everything you're experiencing. You know that. You've seen it. Which atoms do you like and which ones don't you like? There is no such thing. You're just experiencing reality. All of it comes in. All of it passes through. And I'm telling you, when it touches the depth of your being, that is consciousness experiencing its creation. Like music. Music can do that. I can sit there. I tell the story when Vladimir Horowitz, when he went back to Russia, He left the country because of all communist stuff and so on. And they invited him back. I cried just to think about it now. Right? Great pianist, one of the greatest pianists that ever lived. Went back to the great hall in Russia, totally packed. Little guy, he's a little guy, old guy. A piano sitting up on the stage and started playing. They scanned the faces of the people. Tears are pouring down their eyes, not just once, little drop, uncontrollably. The music was so intoxicating, so beautiful. They merged into the music. You can do that, can't you? It is all supposed to be like that. That was the reason for creation. Someone once asked Mayor Bava, why did God create creation? The first thing he said was on a whim. That's not trite. Let's say you're a great dancer, a beautiful, beautiful dancer. You're just intoxicated. And someone says, why did you move your hand that way? On a whim. It's just, I expressed myself. That's what I expressed. God created creation when he expressed himself. And he wants to experience creation. He wants to experience his expression. And you are the ambassador. Your senses in this body are taking in that part of going and crying. Can you hear me? You are God's ambassador to his consciousness being able to receive the creation that got created. Okay, can you handle that job? It comes in. What comes in? Reality, God, creation comes in, doesn't it? And your consciousness is not willing to let it come all the way in and touch you to the depth of your being. Well, what's my choice? Willpower. You have the power of will. You can resist the experience you're having. Do you ever resist the experience you're having? Then it doesn't come all the way in. What happens when you resist it? It gets stuck in your mind. It gets stored in your heart and your mind, in your energy system. You pushed it away. Do you ever push things away? You do it all the time. That's what psychology is all about. You have stored this stuff in there. You understand that? You've had trauma, whatever it is. You've had things that happened that didn't make it through. How did they not make it through? You resisted them. You do it all the time. Even with little things. It's too hot. I don't like that. I don't like the rain. Why does that have to be rainy? You do it with everything all the time. And you've developed this sense inside your mind of the things I resisted and didn't let go of. You've now developed this thing called a self-concept. It's just this tiny part of your mind, which should be much bigger, all right? But it's a tiny part of your mind that's about I, me, and mine. This is what I like. How do you know you like it? Well, I had experiences before. Do you hold on to nice experiences? Or do you only hold on to bad experiences? The food was so good. I want to go back there. Come with me. Don't do that. It won't be the same. You can't recreate an experience, neither good nor bad. They are supposed to be experienced. That's why they're called an experience. Whoa, that's Zen. That's what they mean when they say flowers are red, water's blue, and grass is green. What does that mean? It means things are what they are. They were created. They're beautiful. Oh my God, they're unbelievable. Every experience is an experience. It's not a good experience or a bad experience. It's an experience. How do I know? Because you experienced it. The great way is not difficult for those who have no preferences. The first line of the faith mind of the third Zen patriarch, the most depth of line that's ever been in spirituality. The great way is not difficult for those who have no preferences. What does that mean? They are willing to experience the experience they are having. They're not judging it. They're not liking it, not liking it. They're experiencing it. Well, what happens if something happens and somebody I love with all my heart dies? You experience it. What does that mean? You experience the pain. You experience the love. You experience the loss. You experience the experience. You mean God wants to feel how painful it is? Well, yeah, he wants to experience everything. Hey, he's a great experiencer. It's all just the experience. What's wrong with the deep, deep feeling of having loved somebody tremendously and now they're gone and you feel all this loss, you feel all this. What's wrong with that? Nothing. It's like playing beautiful music. Hey, have you ever gone to see Romeo and Juliet? Anybody know about that play? Fairly famous play. All right. Isn't that fun in the end? when they both die and commit suicide? Isn't that fun? No, but you go back. It's been around for a very long time. Why? It captured that emotion. And you do go back and you say it's beautiful. Yes, it is. But if it happens to you, it's not beautiful. This is what it means to live a whole life. You live a whole life. Have you had experiences in your life? Yes. Do you break them apart of the ones you like and which ones you don't like? Do you want the ones that you like to happen again? Do you want the ones that you didn't like to not happen again? You built an I in there that is separate from God. It's not separate from God. It's God experiencing your I. Now it gets to, here, Dad, you want to experience something? Experience what it's like to live in here. Thanks a lot. It's a mess in there, isn't it? Isn't it? So the antithesis of the first line in the third patriarch is the great way is very difficult for those who have preferences. I'm going to repeat that. The great way, meaning enlightenment, freedom, liberation, merger, oneness. The great way, that's a great way. The great way is extremely difficult for those who have preferences. Have you noticed? So what happens is we're in there. You are God experiencing the experience you're having. But you got broken. You got broken. How? By resistance. Resistance is the whole problem. The experience came in. It was supposed to make it through. Every experience is an experience. And if you don't resist, it was very hard. If you don't resist, it comes all the way in and it touches you. Not only does it touch you and you experience it, but you learn from the experience. You become wait a minute. You've never been out on a date. You're a 14-year-old girl or guy, and you've never had a date before. When you go on that date, no matter what happens, did you learn something? Did you become a greater being because you had the experience? Are you wiser now? Are you greater now? Was it worth it? So you come home and you go to your mother and it was a girl and said, oh my God, it was nice. I didn't like it. In treatment. Right? Okay. You had an experience. That's how we should treat our children. You had an experience. Learn from it. Grow from it. Experience it. Experience the experience. I'm telling you, you become a greater being with every experience you have, but not if you resist it. If you sit there and say, no, I do not want to have had that experience. Now you held the negative experience inside your mind and your heart. When the next experience comes in, it doesn't make it all, I really am going to cry. Please listen. It doesn't make it all the way through. Why? It hits that experience you stored. It brings back the memory, the this, the that, the pain, the fear, the anxiety, the self-consciousness. It hit the stuff you stored in there, didn't it? Isn't that what it's like to live in there? It hit my stuff. Oh, there you spoke the truth. Is it not like that to live in there? Well, who put that stuff in there? You did. No, life didn't. No. Life did not put it in there. Life expressed it, and you got to experience it. And it didn't get stored in there. It didn't get stuck in there. You move here now. There's moment to moment in this state of just total well-being, regardless of whatever happens. But it doesn't mean I won't feel pain. No, there is pain. I won't feel loss. Humans feel loss. That's part of the experience. The question is, are you willing to experience it? Not did you experience it, do you experience it, or will you experience it? Are you willing to experience reality? Are you willing to experience reality? No, you want to experience what you want to experience. How do I know? Every minute of your life, you are out there manipulating, controlling, thinking, plotting, planning of how to get it to be the way I want it to be. And you're taught to do that. That's what you're supposed to do with your life. I'm going to go out there and make it be what I want. That's what we're doing, isn't it? How did you decide what you want? How did you decide what you want? I had experiences in the past that were pleasant. I had experiences in the past that were not pleasant. I stored them inside of my psyche, not inside my psyche. I made a psyche out of those experiences. It's called your self-concept. I stored in this brilliant mind that can think of anything. I don't think of anything. I think of what I stored in there. I get distracted every minute of my life by what gets stored in there. I want this to happen. I don't want that to happen. How do you know what you want? If you didn't experience it, how do you know what you want? You've had experiences. They're supposed to feed you. They're the richness of your life. Experience is the nectar of creation. And so it comes in, but you're not willing to experience it. You filter. Your consciousness resists, either clings, that's a Buddhist term, clings or resists. What does that mean, clings? You liked it, therefore I want to keep it. Oh, you said such nice things to me, say them again. If I don't feel good, I'll call mommy and she'll make me feel good. Well, what if mommy doesn't make you feel good? Then I won't call mommy. That's what's going on in there. You stored the stuff that you either really liked or didn't like. You didn't store the white lines in the road. You didn't store the clouds going by. I told you once, at least 95% of every single thing that came in through your senses made it right through. Well, why didn't I feel ecstasy? Because you didn't bother focus on that stuff. You were busy being afraid of a snake or not liking what the person said yesterday. See, they didn't even experience the clouds or the white lines or anything. Otherwise, white lines are, whoa, look at that. It's yellow. Hey, look, it's dashed. Did you know some are dashed and some are solid? Wow, blow me away. It's artwork. Hey, artists do that. I think of modern art in the Guggenheim, right? I once took my daughter to the Guggenheim when she was young. We went to the top floor of the Guggenheim Museum. Come up there, and there's construction going on. There's dirt and I-beam and this and that. It was an exhibit. I sort of had to ask, what was that? What are you, remodeling? No, it's an exhibit. Everything is an exhibit. Everything is an experience you get to have. Everything. But not if you resist it. Not if you cling to it. What's wrong with clinging to it? It gets stuck. Where? In your mind. In this infinite mind that can think of anything, it thinks of that. It thinks of what mommy did that you didn't like. It thinks of daddy did. That's what the mind stores. Because you did that. You resisted it. You clung to it. You resisted it, keeps it in there, or you clung to it, keeps it in there. See it? And then you built out of these things you held to like building blocks. Every one that didn't make it through is stuck in your mind. That experience, no matter how big or small, is stuck there. I don't like the rain. Somebody told me a while ago, I get sad on the holidays. Why would you get sad on the holidays? Because something happened during Christmas. You didn't get the toy you wanted, or somebody died, or something happened, and you stored it in there. So now Christmas is not Christmas, and Hanukkah is not Hanukkah either. It's just basically you stored in your mind an unpleasant experience. And what happens when I started to tell you that, now the world comes in. It comes in, it doesn't make it through. So you can say it touched on the death of my being. What does it do? It hits the stuff that's stored in there. Do you want to go camping? No. Why? Well, last time I went to go camping, it was raining and it really wasn't any fun. I don't want to do it anymore. But I said, one day, 3 years ago, kids do that. No, I don't like swimming. Why? Well, when I was little, I went to thing and I swallowed some water. How long was that? 43 years ago? How many times have you gone swimming since then? Never. In fact, I don't even go near the water. I'm afraid of it. There. You stored this stuff that's just an experience. Okay, you coughed a little bit. It wasn't pleasant. Let it go. Let it go. Learn from it. By the way, don't just let it go. Learn from it. Don't swim with your mouth open. Oh. Don't swallow salt water. Oh, I learned. Does that mean I never go to the ocean? No. It means you learned. But do we do that? No, we don't do that. What do? We resist every experience that's not pleasant. We push it away. In other words, here, some people collect spoons, baseball cards, teacups. They have collection, coins. Let's collect bad experiences. How's that for a good idea? I'll collect every single experience that I ever had that I didn't like. And the more I didn't like it, the more I'll collect it. I'll keep it in there, baby. You ain't going nowhere. I want to make sure I feel this again and again and again. Are you experiencing the experience again? No, the experience is over. You're experiencing what you stored about the experience. And the option was to get, wow, it touched me, the depth of my being. I learned so much. That's different than, I don't ever want to go swimming again. No, I don't want to go on any dates. He hurt me. I don't know. You did this thing called push the experience away so you didn't have to have it touch the depth of your being. There's no way this is coming all the way in there. Not on my watch. And don't you ever, ever do that again. And don't you say that to me. You know I don't like that. What are you doing? You're saying what I stored in here that I couldn't handle from my past is who I am. And you better get in tune with it. In other words, what matters is not reality. What matters is my self-concept that I made up because I collected it from my past experiences that I didn't like or really did like, mostly didn't like, believe me, and I held it in here, and that's how my mind thinks now. So I told you, you've made your mind, went back to the start of there. How small have you made this mind that can think of anything? It can think of anything, can it? Think of a boat, think of a car, think of a galaxy. You can think of anything instantaneously. What do you think about? What I like and what I don't like and what I'm afraid might happen based on what? Based on what I didn't like? You're not afraid of anything you've never experienced. Well, I read in a book. That's an experience. So basically, you stored in there. Now you became so addicted to that collection of thoughts, which the tiny little, are your experiences important? Right now, you're having an experience. Isn't that meaningful? How can it be? There's experiences everywhere that you're missing. Which is more important, the experiences that you didn't have, all of them, or the single experience that you're having? You say, the experience I'm having is more important than everything else. Why? Turn to the left, have a different one. Get distracted and you miss an experience. It's like, I know this is the hardest one for you to get. The experience you're having is meaningless. It is statistically insignificant compared to the ones you're not having that are really just as real if you were in France having dinner at some restaurant versus in America at some other restaurant. They're just experiences. It's just you didn't have it. So what? Let me ask you a question. If you're having dinner in France and not having dinner in America, is dinner still happening in America? Are other people having an experience? Is it just as real as what's happening in France? The only thing that's important is what you experience. There's ego for you. Everything is everything. It's just all happening at once. Does it happen simultaneously? All the moments? Of all the simultaneous moments, how many are you experiencing through your little eyes? Nothing. Yet it's defining your life. You say it's the most important thing that ever happened. When you can get what I just talked about, you will be there. You will let go. That's how you let go. By saying, what right do I have to say that the atoms that are unfolding right now in front of me are more important than the atoms anywhere else in the universe? They're not. They're just creation. It's all the same. But we are addicted to what we stored inside. And so we build this self-concept inside our mind, which again, how tiny is that? How tiny are your thoughts of your experiences versus all the thoughts and experiences everywhere? It's not even close. But we do that. And this I becomes who we think we are. It's called your self-concept, your ego. That's a very amazing word. And we stare at it all the time. Your consciousness can experience anything. What yours is experiencing is what's going on inside your mind and your heart. Correct? That just pulls you down into it. That's literally the fall from the garden. I would say it quietly. Instead of being who you are, God, experiencing creation, you littled yourself down to this tiny, so small. And that's just on the planet Earth. I told you over and over again, I try to tell you, 1.3 million Earths fit inside the sun. How many things are going on that little planet? How many things are you experiencing compared to what's going on everywhere on the planet? Nothing. 1.3 million of the planet fit inside a star. One star. And there's 300 billion of those stars in your galaxy, and there's trillions of galaxies. How important are you? That's embarrassing. It should be. Because when you cease to think that that little thing you collected in here because you couldn't handle life is important, you will be important. You will be God. You will stop staring at this stupid little thing and devoting your life and everything in it to what this little thing you're staring at. Did I make it small enough? Okay. And I am staring at that, aren't I? How small is your thoughts in your mind about you? When you stop staring at it, do you think you'll be nothing? You'll be everything. You will have ceased to limit your consciousness to that one spot in the middle of nowheres. And if it's not limited, what happens? It expands. The consciousness doesn't expand. It ceases to contract. Do you see the difference? It's already fully expanded, but you're staring at this. When you stop staring at this, you start to experience the rest until ultimately that is enlightenment, that is merger, till ultimately you're liberated, you're free. That's what liberation is. That's what self-realization is. I love the fact that Master called it self-realization. What does that mean? Here, Muktananda. Meditate on the self. What does that mean? You in there. Don't meditate on your mind. Meditate on that which sees your mind. Meditate on the self. Honor, worship your own being, for God dwells within you as you. That is a true statement. It doesn't matter what you've ever done. It doesn't matter. There's no karma. There's no anything. Stop it, stop it, stop it. You are pure consciousness, creating the universe everywhere at all times. You know that people have reached that state? Very few. They've reached that state. In Orville Yogi, Yogananda talks about my first experience in cosmic consciousness. His guru touched him. He went bye-bye. What does that mean? He described it as, I was here in my body. Now I was the galaxies. My experience of my being was expanding at the speed of light in all directions. And every galaxy and all of creation was not within me. It's who I am. And guess what? That's not the highest state. You're a very great being. That's what they call Sabikalpa Samadhi. Experiencing your being as form, all of creation at once. The Nirvikalpa Samadhi is now, you went before God created creation, and there's just the emptiness, the stillness. Masters, go there. Okay? You are that. You're capable of that. But what am I doing instead? Trying to make what's in front of me be the way I want it to be based on the experiences I couldn't handle that happened before. That's a long sentence. I am busy trying to make everybody be the way, not just be the way I want them to be. You ready? You have trouble thinking that somebody doesn't think nicely of you. You have trouble thinking that something might happen that you don't like. So you now just made a mess that life has to be a certain way based on what I stored inside. I now have to have thoughts that are all generated by what I stored inside, and the thoughts have to be the way I want them to be, don't they? And the emotions, all your emotions and all of your thoughts are generated by your self-concept. That's why your emotions are the way they are, and blah, 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 blah. And then you worry about your emotions, about how they might be. I love that. You don't just worry about the past. You do it about the future. It hasn't even happened yet. Ooh, do I have time? Has the future happened yet? Why are you making up a bad one and worrying about it? It's a serious question. Do you not do that? Does anybody worry? Right? What does worry mean? Something might happen that I don't want. Has it happened yet? If it happened yet, I wouldn't be worrying. I'd be dealing with it. So it hasn't happened yet, but I'm going to not only make a mess of myself by clinging to the past that doesn't even happen anymore because I couldn't handle it, but I'm going to make it myself by making up a future that I don't like. Now I'm going to take 8.3 billion of you. All of you had different experiences. Therefore, all of you resisted and stored different things. Now I'm going to throw you onto a planet together and have you make up a future that you don't like, have a past that you can't handle. Therefore, when you come into the present, and now I'll throw you on the planet, 8.3 billion of you, and let's see what happens. Is that not the problem? The solution is very simple. Get enlightened. Get with the program. And that becomes what you do with your life. Instead of being so lost in yourself, which is so little, please, isn't it little? Instead of being so lost in yourself, you learn to say, I can handle this. I can handle this. not I can't handle this. Because if you can't handle it, it's going to get stuck inside of you. I can handle this. Guess what? It's raining out. I can handle it. The car in front of me turned without using their blinker. I can handle it. Somebody said something that I think I don't like. I'm not sure what they meant. I can handle it. Somebody might say something someday that hurts my feelings. I can handle it. Then you're saying, I'm not going to store it. I'm going to handle it. By handling it, I'm letting it go. And more you're going to find out, if you do that with your life, you're a happier person than you used to be. Of course you are. You're not storing all the garbage that made you be messed up. So I did the whole talk. Hope you got it. Now we'll talk about what's the technique. Oh, breathe 14 times through this nostril. Yes. Yes, you can do that. It's wonderful. And you should do that. It works. Okay. It's great. You should do anything you can that will help you let go of yourself. But the answer is as follows. Wake up in the morning. Here's my teaching. I don't teach techniques, but I'll give you one. Wake up in the morning and realize it's just all a bunch of atoms. Every single thing around you is just little atoms bonding together into molecules, isn't it? I'm okay with that. What's going to happen today? Nothing. I'm going to experience the unfolding of creation. That's what's going to happen today. I'm going to experience reality in front of me. Can I handle it? Yes, I'm going to handle it. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to get up and I'm going to try and handle it. But a roach ran by, I can handle it. That doesn't mean you don't have to catch it or you do whatever you want. Once you can handle it, you're in a position to make a decision on what to do about it. And it will be a perfectly reasonable decision. I had a friend who was very much into himsa, right? But she didn't like mosquitoes. This is a long time ago, 50 years ago. I'll never forget. This is how she dealt with mosquitoes. Back to God. That's fine. Any way you want to handle it, once you're clear, it's fine. You'll find that you do much better. You're much better if you can handle it and deal with it than if you can't handle it and try to deal with it. If I say I can't handle it, you're the last person in the world that should be dealing with it because you admitted you can't handle it. And so basically, you wake up in the morning, you say, I'm going to handle it. I'm going to have fun. It's going to be a good old time. I'm going to experience all kinds of things, period. And then you won't do very well. The toothbrush doesn't work, the cereal's cold, or you ran out of milk. Something's going to happen, isn't it? Come on. Yes or no? You know what you're going to say? I can handle it. Whoa. Guess what happens when you say I can handle it? You find out you can handle it. I ran out of milk. I'll use water for my cereal. You can do whatever you want. Can't you? You can do whatever you want. Well, why don't you just handle the thing and have fun? And people write me from all over the world. It's crazy. They write out, it's crazy. All over the world. It changed my life. They say, I changed your life. I didn't change your life. I told you just handle the things that are happening. And you find out, I didn't used to get along with my wife. I was thinking about divorce. Now we're getting along beautifully. We just both look at each other and say, I can handle it. She did something I didn't like. I can handle it. It will change everything. So it's not, I can't handle it, so I'm going to go change it. I can't handle it, so I don't want it happening. So I'm going to fight and struggle and create hell for everybody else because I can't handle reality. I can handle it. Then, by all means, come down and deal with it. Protest. Do whatever you need to do. But do it from a conscious point of view. I'm not doing it because I'm not okay. I can handle it, and I'm just doing it. You got to do something. Can anybody hear what I talked about? You are not a little tiny ego. You are way greater than that. My Father and I are one. Christ's words. My Father and I are one. And as I sit by the throne of my Father, so you shall sit by my throne. And these things which I do should do these and even greater things. What does that mean? It's a state of consciousness. I'm a nice Jewish yogi. I love Christ. You're a great being, but you're limiting yourself by staring at what you collected and said, this is me. All right. Work with it. Work with yourself. Jagrata.
You've been listening to the Michael Singer Podcast, produced by Sounds True in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information on Michael's body of work and all back episodes, please join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening. Sounds True, waking up the world.